folks, welcome to the channel. Today on Lori Explores, we're going to get a little crafty. So if you're expecting an outdoors video, then this may not be for you. But if you'd like to learn about a little craft project that I've been wanting to try for the outdoors, then stick around. So I recently purchased a new pillow, and it was the type that you could remove the stuffing in it in order to make it not as dense. So if you wanted a flatter pillow, then you can remove the stuffing. The stuffing happened to be these foam chips. So this gave me an idea that I'd like to try making my own camping pillow. So what we're going to try is we're going to take 2 pieces of cotton and we're going to make a fully enclosed pillow with the foam chips as stuffing. So it's going to create a pillow that isn't very thick, but with a piece of polar fleece backing to it, which will be open like a pillowcase. So the idea being that you can take your hiking clothes or your day clothes and stuff inside to give you more cushion. This gives you a smaller form size pillow to stuff in your backpack to carry with you, and then also somewhere to stuff your day clothes, your hiking clothes at night, giving you a more cushiony pillow. I've measured my polar fleece to be 20 inches long to allow for a flap at the end with Velcro, and 10 inches wide. The cotton material is 10 inches wide as well, and 16 inches long. Oh, and full disclosure, I am by no means an expert with the sewing machine. My knowledge of sewing goes so far as I own a sewing machine and I know how to use it. So very basic. So when I attempt these craft projects, I try not to go beyond my abilities of being able to use the sewing machine. So please forgive me if you are a sewer, seamstress, if you are a professional, know what you're doing, and you see me doing things that are completely out of the norm. Hey, drop a comment, give me some tips and hints on how I can improve my sewing abilities, but full disclosure, I am not a professional. So a tip before you sew this together is that you want to have the right side and the right side of this layer facing, because these are the two that are going to be on the outside of your project when you turn it inside out. Okay, so fingers crossed, when we turn this inside out, we should be left with 2 right sides facing, or sorry, 2 wrong sides facing, 2 right sides on the outside of the pillow. So because we've got 3 layers here, there are 2 ways to turn it inside out. So if you want the fleece on one side and the cotton on the other, then you want to flip it around like so. Okay. Well, so far so good. And of course, the nice thing about making your own pillows, you can make it whatever size you want. I tend to not want, too big of a pillow when I'm camping. Obviously, it does take up some room in your backpack, and you have to fit it in your sleeping bag at night too. Okay, time to stuff the pillow. I think I've got as much stuffing in the pillow as I want, because I wanted to have a smaller form factor in order to stuff in my backpack. So this will allow me to be able to put my camp clothes in it at night, probably a sweatshirt or my t-shirt, something like that. and then the foam will provide a little bit of cushion so that, you know, if there's a buckle or a button or something, you know, that's not sticking into my face through the pillow. I've got a little bit of foam cushion there. Unless, of course, you're using the fleece side, then it's just going to be whatever you've stuffed in there. So I've got my foam chips inside there, and we're going to sew up the end now. Now this will be the tricky part. I've folded over my seams to give me a nicer edge. Obviously I want to run this edge through the sewing machine and leave the back open for my pillow pocket in order to stuff camp clothes in there. So just keep that in mind, that you don't sew the back side shut and not provide your little pocket opening there. The next thing we have to do is just create our little flap here at the end. We're going to sew on some Velcro just to keep everything inside at night. It doesn't have to be, you know, too heavy duty. Obviously it's going to be closed, so it's not going to be little pieces falling out or anything, just to keep them in there. So we're just going to kind of sew this up, make a flap. We're going to sew our Velcro on there, and on this piece here, so that we have a fold over piece to close. So then that will keep your clothes inside, and then we'll try it out. We'll get a shirt, stuff it in there, and see what we're left with. Just to show you what I've done here is I've just sewn up the seams. I'm going to fold this over now just to create a nice clean little flap. We're going to sew that around, and then we'll sew our Velcro on there, and so that we can fold it over and close up that edge for after we've stuffed some clothes in there. Here we've got our little flap. I think we'll put the fuzzy part of the Velcro on this side here, and the teeth or the hooks over here. That should work out fine. So sew that on next. And the last piece. So we're back to this fold here that we want to make sure we don't sew it shut when we're sewing the Velcro on. So we'll have to do it backwards to put it in the machine, or of course you can do it by hand. So I'm going to pin this one on just to make sure that I get it in the right place, because I'm not going to be able to see it while I'm sewing it. You wouldn't believe how hard I'm trying to not stick out my tongue right now. One of those people that when I'm working on a craft project or something like that, I like to stick out my tongue. I don't know why. It helps me concentrate, I guess. Okay, let's get this sewn up. Not bad. So we've got it sewn on there now. So we should be, oh, there's some sewing humor for you. So we should be left with an opening. So we got our stuff part, a Velcro closure. We've got our foam cotton pillow and our fleece backside. So let's go stuff it, see how it looks. I've got one of my shirts here that I might typically take camping. So I'm going to stuff it in. Again, depending on the size of your pillow, and that'll dictate how much you're able to actually stuff inside. The nice thing is you don't have to be as concerned about how you put the piece of clothing in, because the foam is going to kind of mitigate if you've got any sort of lumps and bumps. So there you have it. It's definitely not perfect, but that will make a decent camp pillow just with a long sleeve shirt in there. Got the foam on one side, you got the fleece on the other side. That should make a nice addition to my my hiking gear loadout. Small form factor, and able to stuff some clothes inside at night for a little bit more cushioning. So there you have it. So until next time, keep exploring.